6:32 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by forwarding a copy to the Courier News, Star Ledger, and posting on the Township website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, all in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Foster?
Here.
Mrs. Illis?
Here.
Mr. Machado?
Here.
Mr. Maderos?
Here.
Mr. Moran?
Here.
Mrs. Pogue?
Here.
And Mayor Devaney.
I'm present. Will you all please rise for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
We have a very special proclamation presentation. I probably been out hundreds of these over the course of my career of 8 years, and the first time I get to give my daughter one, so I'm excited about that. But I'd like to call forward Mr. Hendricks, our athletic director, to say a few words. He has to make his son's game, so we're gonna let him start first. The room is mic'd.
All right, that'll be real weird here, but.
As long as you think you can project the room there.
Thank you, Mayor Devaney and the Town Council and all Berkeley Heights for recognizing our Governor Livingston High School softball team. This was an amazing team to watch, to see them go throughout the course of the season with the ups and downs that they did, and then come out on top and be able to bring a trophy home to the Hill was remarkable to watch. And the fact that we had such great support from our community members, I want to thank Ms. Bradford, who's here representing our Board of Education, Ms. McBarry, who's our school principal at GL, and all the parents and families who are here that really saw this group grow into the sectional champions that they became. From last year, seeing the heartbreak at Hanover Park, walking off the field, you can tell that they played with a chip on their shoulder this year and were able to get their as I call our revenge tour back and bring the championship home against a very good Caldwell and a very good Hanover Park team. So they have a lot to be proud of. I feel very blessed and honored to be part of this, not just community, but to the Governor of Livingston School community because of all the support that we give our student athletes. They've gone above and beyond what we've asked of them. They've committed, they've sacrificed, and they are more than deserving of the recognition that you are ready to present to them, as well as the recognition of being a sectional champ. You are not just a sectional champ this year. That is something that lasts for you for the duration of your life. And when you come back to Governor Livingston High School, you get to see that trophy with your name on the back of it and say, I did that. And I'm very thankful that you did that for our school because it continues a tradition of not just athletic success, but the success of what student athletes bring when they come to Governor Livingston High School. So thank you again, Mayor Devaney, for recognizing them to the Town Council and all the support that we've got from the community throughout this season. So congratulations, girls.
I'm going to ask Coach Lanigan to come assist me if she would. Coach, will you come assist me if you would, please? I'm going to read the proclamation and then I'm going to ask you to read off the roster and one by one, everybody, when your name is called to come up here, we'll give you a proclamation. And then I know Coach has a few words to say.
Just a few.
Do you want to do it before they stand up here or do you want to do it while they're up here?
Well, they can go sit back down before I talk.
Okay. Oh, I was going to torture them with pictures.
Yeah.
It's my prerogative. All right. Here we go. Proclamation, Township of Berkeley Heights. Whereas the Governor of Livingston High School varsity softball team demonstrated extraordinary determination, resilience, sportsmanship, and excellence throughout the 2026 season. And whereas under the leadership of head coach Erin Lanigan and her assistant coaching staff, Casey Warsick and Krista Meager and the Highlanders compiled an outstanding season and established themselves as a premier softball program in New Jersey. And whereas throughout the season, the team displayed exceptional talent, composure, perseverance, overcoming challenges that seemed insurmountable while representing GLHS and the Berkeley Heights and Mountainside communities with pride and integrity. And whereas the Highlanders began their state tournament run with a commanding 16-1 victory over Voorhees in the opening round of the NJSIAA North Jersey Section 2 Group 2 tournament. And whereas the team then delivered one of the most memorable victories in the program history, defeating Bernards 13-12, a thrilling 12-inning, 4.5-hour sectional quarterfinal contest before a passionate home crowd. And whereas the Highlander advanced to the sectional championship game by defeating top-seeded Caldwell 5-1, in a statement semifinal victory highlighted by outstanding pitching, timely hitting, and exceptional teamwork. And whereas after experiencing a heartbreak in that sectional final, the Governor Livingston varsity softball team achieved redemption by capturing the 2026 NJSIAA North Jersey Section 2 Group 2 Championship, the first time since 2010, bringing honor and distinction to Governor Livingston High School, Berkeley Heights, and the entire community. And whereas this championship reflects not only athletic achievement, but also the values of leadership, commitment, perseverance, teamwork, and sportsmanship that define Governor Livingston athletics. And whereas they shall be known to parents, coaches, and community as the comeback hits, winning several games in dramatic fashion that challenged the cardiac health of all of their fans. And coaches, oh, you're in there. And whereas the accomplishments of these student athletes have inspired younger players, united our community, and created memories that will endure for years. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and the Township Council of Berkeley Heights that the Governor Livingston High School varsity softball team, coaching staff, school administration, and families be congratulated on winning the 2026 NJSIAA North Jersey Section 2 Group 2 Championship and commend them for their outstanding achievement and exemplary representation of our community. Approved this 9th day of June 2026.
Now Belucci.
Hold it down.
Mia Peanut Bussin.
Good day.
Yeah, I forgot red, sorry.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Great job.
Leah Dasty.
Good job, Leah.
Abby Devaney. Gabby Di Donato. Paige Drennan. Addie Figler could not make it tonight, but clap it up for her. Allie Gardner. Izzy Jolly could not make it tonight, but clap it up for her. Kate Classic could not make it tonight, clap it up for her. Addie Miller.
Come back, wait a minute.
Alyssa Monaco. Farley Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Poor Carly was injured for part of the season.
Yeah.
She's on the men's though.
Vanessa Popola.
How did these girls score me in 2019?
Aww.
At this time, now they're all taller.
Maggie Quinn. Lily Hammer Sanholm. Liv Steinmetz. Lucia Excello.
Yes.
Coach Casey Warswick. And new addition to the coaching staff this year, Coach Kristen, otherwise known as Quiston.
Yeah, and head coach Flanagan.
I need somewhere to rest my papers.
Yes.
So I'm not quite as good as Mr. Hendricks where I could go without something to guide me. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Devaney and all of you town council members for inviting this amazing group of young ladies here tonight. While they're being honored for winning a sectional championship, there is so much more than just a trophy to celebrate tonight. When I think of this group, I think of resilience. Quite honestly, they're one of the most resilient groups of young ladies I've ever had the privilege of coaching. But for those of you here tonight, whether you follow us every day or only caught a few headlines along the way, you should know just how special this team really is. Softball requires patience, resilience, and an incredible amount of commitment. What you don't see on NJ.com, Tap Into, or any of the other news outlets is everything that happens behind the scenes. The hours spent training in the off season, the long, hot summer weekends playing tournament after tournament with their club teams, the sacrifices that your families make who invest so much time, energy, support, and money helping these girls pursue their goals. These players have worked tirelessly, day in, day out. This group set out with one goal: to make history and to add another trophy to the case. And they did just that. The comeback kids did it. Through countless hours of practice, unwavering commitment to one another, and the determination to keep pushing forward when the stakes were highest, they achieved something truly special. When people look back on this season, they'll see the trophy and the title of North 2 Group 2 champion. What they won't see is everything it took to get there. This team's story was never about having an easy path. It was about resilience. Throughout the season, we found ourselves in situations where many teams would have folded. We trailed in games, we faced pressure, we faced adversity, yet every single time this team responded the same way. We fought our way back. These girls simply refused to stay down. After we were eliminated from the county tournament earlier than expected, a few players came into my office the next morning, like they always do. The first thing I asked was, how are we feeling today? Everybody okay? Without hesitation, Abby Devaney looked me square in the eye and said, I'm ready to win states, let's go. She meant every single word of that. We rolled through the first round with a 16-1 victory over Voorhees, and then came Bernards. If you were there, you know exactly what happened. If you were there, whether as a parent, a friend, a family member, or even just a fan passing by, you felt it. You felt your heart rate spike on more than one occasion. You felt nerves you didn't even know you had. But most importantly, you felt the energy at that field that day. It was electric. Our fan base was simply the best. The support, the noise, the passion, and the belief never wavered once. Every big moment felt even bigger because of the people who packed the stands, rode every pitch, every hit, and every out right alongside us. And if you weren't there, you definitely heard about it afterwards, once everyone managed to get their heart rate back down. Those are kinds of games people talk about for a long time. The kind that remind you just why high school sports are so special and why this team captured the attention of so many people along the way. More than 4 hours of the most nerve-wracking, exhausting, and exciting softball game I've ever been a part of as a player and a coach. 12 innings, pure grit. 12 innings, sweat, a whole lot of tears, and 12 innings of teammates lifting each other up. Every at-bat, team at-bat. Every defensive play, team play. Every pitch thrown by Alyssa and Maggie came with the confidence of knowing that their teammates had their backs. We came from behind not once, not twice, but 5 different times. We wouldn't go away because this team still had a goal to accomplish. Nobody deserved the sectional title more than this group. They prove that when you want something badly enough, you just keep fighting for it. You never give up, even when the odds seem totally stacked against you. The rest of the road wasn't quite easy either. Next came Caldwell, the number 1 seed. We had to travel there. No problem, the girls got it done. Then there was one game left. One more opportunity, one chance at redemption from the previous year. Back up to Hanover Park. In true Governor Livingston softball fashion, we made sure that everyone in attendance got one more emotional roller coaster. A home run in the first inning became a ground rule double. Don't worry, Allie, it's a home run in our book. A 3-0 lead suddenly disappeared. Suddenly, we found ourselves trailing by a run in the 5th inning. But if you looked into our dugout, you wouldn't have seen panic. You would have seen confidence, heads held high, eyes locked in. They knew we weren't out of the fight. After all, they don't call you the comeback kids for nothing. That's the remarkable thing about resilience. It isn't built during the easy moments. It's built when things aren't going your way, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, and when you're staring elimination in the face. Those were the moments that made this team stronger, and all we needed was a little swing of momentum. Vanessa started the 7th inning with a single. Then came up Hannah Red Bellucci. She had been frustrated after her previous at-bat, but as she walked up, she looked down at me, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, I know that look. We're good. This is going to happen right now. And it did. She swung, 2-run home run, and just like that, we shifted the momentum. In the bottom of the 7th, of course, to not make it easy on GL, and that's our thing, Hanover Park had the top of their lineup coming up. Their biggest bats were ready, but not this time. Maggie and her defense got the job done. Every comeback victory taught us something. We learned to trust one another. We learned to stay calm under pressure. And most importantly, we learned that no deficit is too large and no challenge too difficult when you face it together. This championship wasn't won in one game or just one moment. It was earned over an entire season through perseverance, determination, and belief in each other. It was won because every player understood her role and consistently put the team ahead of themselves. Championship teams are remembered for what they accomplish. Great teams are remembered for how they go about accomplishing it. This team will be remembered for their heart. When adversity showed up, we answered. When challenges appeared, we responded. When the odds were against us, we found a way. We all know that yesterday didn't go our way. And we're still feeling the sting of the season officially coming to an end. But like I told the girls before the game in Ramsey yesterday, you are North 2 Group 2 champions, and you belong here. A few weeks ago, 256 public school softball teams entered this tournament. By yesterday, before we stepped on the field, only 16 public schools were left playing. While the result wasn't what we wanted, there were countless players who went home after school yesterday wishing that they had one more game to play, one more bus ride to take, and one more opportunity to compete with their teammates. What I will remember most isn't the final score. It's the way that you ladies carried yourselves. You held your heads high as you walked off that field. You came together and shared an emotional moment as a team. The tears, the hugs, and even the laughter through the tears on the bus ride home, and some questionable dancing. Reminded everyone what makes this group so special. Notice I didn't look up when I said questionable dancing. I don't want to call anybody out. This team has always been about more than the wins and losses. It's been about resilience, togetherness, and finding joy in being around one another. Those qualities were on full display yesterday, and they are the reason this season will be remembered for so much more than that final game. You girls are truly something special, and every coach, parent, and supporter who has watched this journey unfold couldn't be more proud of the way you represented yourselves, your teammates, and your school. The season may be over, but what this team accomplished and the bonds that you've built will last far longer than any final score in a game. To all of you ladies, thank you for showing us what true resilience looks like. Thank you for believing in one another. Thank you for competing with passion, pride, and selflessness every day. Because of your hard work, your commitment, and your absolute refusal to quit, you will forever be able to call yourselves champions. To my coaching staff, Casey and Kristen, thank you for it all. My sounding board, my calm, and truly the greatest support ever. I appreciate you both endlessly, and thank you for all the countless hours that you put in with me behind the scenes and how you pour your heart into this program day in and day out. To the parents, the families, supporters, and our entire community, our 10th player on the field, thank you. Thank you for the sacrifices, the support, the encouragement, and the countless hours spent in the stands cheering these girls on. We could not have done it without all of you. This championship belongs to all of us. Thank you. And again, congratulations to this incredible group of young ladies. I'm going to ask all you guys to stand up so we can clap. Want them all up here?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, come up here. Oh, just.
Abby, you have to stand next to me whether you like it or not.
I swear Abby was not the questionable dancer.
That's surprising.
Right.
Oh.
So, this is my.
They're all the same height.
Let's get some of you kneeling in the front.
Second row. Okay, and I guess I'll be in front. Oh,
Yeah, Leah, Lucia, Mia. Yeah. Why are you talking about me?
Oh,
Squeeze a little bit more.
All right.
I don't believe you let this come close. I apologize.
Parents. George has to be last. George has to be. Anybody else?
The lighting is so hard.
It is. Thank you, girls. Good job. Great. Everybody, a few minutes to leave, unless you want to stay, it's up to you. I know there's senior sunset tonight.
Yeah, Cedar Sunset. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
And then I felt like breathe.
Oh, you want me? Oh, wow.
Just realized it's like.
Yeah, I did.
My face.
So.
Yeah, they're all over there.
Yeah.
Quieter, much quieter. All right, well, that was wonderful, amazing, and such an honor for me, for sure. Moving into conference session, we have an Eagle Scout presentation. Rohan is here, see? Yes, oh, there it is, okay.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm here to present my Eagle Scout project it's gonna be happening at Little Columbia Park for playground camp. So it's gonna consist of constructing 3 lean-tos for the campers to store all their belongings. And then I'm also gonna be repairing and refurbishing the 2 existing ones that are already there. This project is just gonna help improve the functionality and organization for all the campers at playground camp. So it'll benefit the town by like creating more storage and a shaded area for the campers to sit, because right now there's a lack of seating at playground camp and the campers are always fighting over spots to sit. So especially having a place to sit in the shade would help them a lot. And by having a place for them to store their bags during the day, it would improve the organization for the campers, especially for the campers that may be having to go to the swim club during the day. They don't know where their bags are and they can take them and things out of them at any point during the day. So the materials I would need are pressure treated lumber, Trex decking and Trex screws, wood screws, and some type of wood sealant or weatherproof paint for the lumber. So as for tools, I would need power tools like electric screwdrivers, drills, and maybe other things depending on if I need to level the ground. I would need measuring tapes to cut wood to size. Maybe saws depending on if I can't get fabricated wood already and I might have to fabricate it myself. And then shovels and levels depending on if I need to level the ground for the lean-tos. So as for supplies, I would need safety equipment like goggles and gloves if we are planning on sawing any pieces of wood to size. And I would need sandpaper to make sure that any of those pieces of wood would be clean and they wouldn't hurt anyone that might touch the wood. And I would need brushes or rollers to apply the wood sealant onto it. And I would also need water and refreshments for the volunteers. So as for permits, I've spoken with Miss George, and she told me that the only real permit I would need is that I would need to go to the building department, and I would need to get a permit from them, and it wouldn't be since my project can be moved around, it wouldn't be I wouldn't need to do or have many permits for it. I would just need that one to tell the town that I'm building something, and it would be put there. As for logistics, the materials and supplies would be gathered, and it would all be put in my house, and the lean-tos would be assembled at my house with the help of volunteers. And then once they are built, they would be able to they can be transported by the DPW to Little Columbia Park. And like I said, I am building the 3 new lean-tos, and I'm gonna be building them out of Trex decking primarily, which is gonna make them a lot more weather resistant, and it will allow the lean-tos, like the structure of them, to not warp much. As for cost, it would be around $750 to $800 per lean-to, so around 2,250 to 2,400 total, and $165 to $170 for the 2 new roofs on the old lean-tos. So in total for that, it would be around 2,415 to around 2,570 for the whole project. As for supplies, I would need 175 total for those. And for tools, I'm not going to be using much, and we're hoping to keep the cost for tools at 0, and to borrow most of our tools from volunteers if we don't already have them. So in total, it will cost around 2,590 to 2,745 for the entire project. And as for fundraising for the project, I've already spoken with Miss George, and she has agreed with me that the recreation department can pay half of the cost. And for the additional funding, I can go to local businesses in town, and in accordance with the Scouting America guidelines for how I can fundraise, I can make a fundraising effort to help pay for the other half. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I do, and I see Mrs. George is in the back of the room as well, but in terms of construction, it looks like you're doing it over the summer when you're out of school.
Yeah.
Is that going to impede playground camp at all? Is it going to be in a safe location while you're assembling it? It sounds like you're constructing it at your house and then maybe assembling it at Lower Columbia?
So I'm gonna be constructing them at my house, and I was told that they can be moved from my house to the playground camp or
At the ZPW, yeah, you
Yeah.
mentioned that, but it won't be in the way of playground camp while they're
No.
doing their thing. My other comment to you is that the library has a lot of really extraordinary things that you can take out, like a power washer. They may have some tools or things that you need. So you may want to check in with the library director and find out if there are some things that you can use and check out from the library.
Okay, thank you.
But this looks great. I think this is a really clever, needed project. So you did a great job.
Thank you.
One quick question. Were you motivated because you went to summer camp and you had a lack of,
Yeah, I went to a playground camp,
Okay.
and there was kind of a lack of seating, but I've been told, like, I have family friends that are also like they're just gone to middle school, so they were in playground camp for the last couple of years, and they told me it is kind of getting worse. There's a lot more kids, so it's gonna they don't have much space for seating much.
that's great. Thank you for doing this.
I mean, any idea of the dimensions or any sense for the dimensions at this point?
Not at this point yet, but I'm planning on going to Lower Columbia right now and taking measurements on the current ones, so I can, one, be able to fix the roofs on them accordingly, and two, try and make almost identical copies of them, but with much more durable materials, and fixing any like thing that may not be up to code.
I have a concern though. Have you ever used a power tool? I mean, because it says right here that supplies, tools will include power drills and saws. So, I mean, I'm assuming that perhaps maybe some of the volunteers may have experience using power tools. Am I correct?
Adults will
Yeah.
supervise,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well-
Some power tools.
Well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, but who's actually doing drilling and the sawing? I mean-
So, sorry, were you done?
No, so my concern is really, so who's actually utilizing the power tools? I mean, it's not you and the volunteers, it's probably someone else that is experienced with using power tools like power drills and power saws.
Yeah, so I've looked at the as for the like Scouting America guidelines for what type of like power tools that a scout can use, it does restrict a lot of younger scouts. Like under 14, you can't use any at all, I don't think. But depending on what rank you are, you will have some training for especially using saws. That is a part of one of the requirements for one of the lower ranks. So you would know how to use a saw at the very least. And as for power drills and other power tools, I'm hoping I can get either one of my parents or
Okay,
to help me out with that.
okay, all right.
Scouts are usually very well organized in the older kids, helping the younger kids and having safety mechanisms around their projects. Any other questions?
The other question I have is, you say that there's currently 2 existing lean-to structures there, and you're going to go use them for measurements for the next 3.
Yes.
So are the 3 going to be located in the same place as the current 2?
Yeah, they will be.
Are the current 2 that are there also mobile, like the ones that you're going to put there? Are they
You're replacing
are
them.
they current struck, are they like permanently mounted?
So like currently I was told they're like zip tied to the fence almost, or like they're bolted to the fence so they can't move because they did fall a couple of years back when there was a storm, but I can't really move. I think they should be movable if you can take out the bolts, but mine are probably going to be either attached in the same way or not attached at all, depending on how heavy they are or how I might also secure them to the ground in a different way.
Right. And you anticipate those 3 added to the 2 are gonna give enough room for everybody to be able to put their stuff in?
I think so, yeah.
Awesome, okay, yes, I like it.
Any other questions? Your mom's taking a video of this, and I have to compliment her because I've worked with him on the Mayor's Youth Council, Turkey Trot, Youth Ambassadors, and now this, and he's an extraordinary young man, so you are to be complimented. Thank you, Ruhan. It was a very good presentation.
Thank you.
We approve. You have our permission. How about that? That's what you need, right? Okay. Next up, we have the Community Energy Plan.
Albert.
Oh, you're, oh, sorry. Who? Somebody else. I did say I didn't have coffee. I didn't have enough matcha today. That's what. All right.
So, the slide should be up on the Zoom. Is that right?
And we're having technical difficulties with our screens.
Right. The people on Zoom will be able to see it.
But those of us in the room need to follow it. If you did not get a copy of the slides, the Berkeley Heights Township Community Energy Plan, you might want to grab a copy now. So we'll have to go through it on paper.
And this is a summary of a much larger plan, which was included in the agenda that Angela published earlier this week. So let me take the opportunity when everybody's ready to publicly present the Township of Berkeley Heights Community Energy Plan that was initiated just a little over 2 years ago. In mid-2024, we assembled a team to consider the development of this plan and received a grant to fund a consultant to help formalize that. The product of this effort, the Berkeley Heights Township Community Energy Plan, was included with the published agenda, as I said. And in this conference session, I'll present via slide presentation a summary of the plan. I did not include in the slides the team members, but they're acknowledged in the plan, and some of them are here with me on the council dais. I want to personally thank them all for their contribution and their help. I also want to emphasize that this is a draft plan that still needs to be adopted by resolution of the township, which I hope to include on the June 30th meeting agenda. It's an aspirational plan in that it incorporates strategies that we will undertake if we can afford them and if they make sense. Some cost little or nothing, but others can be considerably expensive. And to that point, once the BPU, the Board of Public Utilities, has accepted our plan, we'll be able to apply for a very sizable grant from them to help us fund some of the more expensive strategies. In addition, I do welcome feedback on this plan either tonight or you can email me at my township address to provide your feedback. Next slide, if you're not on it yet. I was on it first. Okay.
See,
Yeah, it's the next.
are we on,
what they are.
just for our edification, are we on
Right,
supporting
two.
program context or CEP overview?
Yep.
Okay.
The sponsor of the grant to help us develop our plan is the Board of Public Utilities, as I mentioned. They worked with New Jersey Clean Energy Program and Sustainable Jersey to develop a work plan to help each community develop their plan. Sustainable Jersey helped us considerably and was active throughout our process. In fact, there might be a member of is there a member from Sustainable Jersey here tonight? They were going to send somebody in tonight, but maybe they couldn't make it. Next slide. This slide summarizes the process, and we are at the midpoint, kind of in the middle there, presenting this draft for consideration and public discussion. Next slide. As part of the process, Sustainable Jersey helped us make a determination of what the community looks like, and in the following slides, how Berkeley Heights utilizes energy that generates greenhouse gases. Next slide. Most of the electricity consumption is driven by the commercial sector, whereas the residential sector dominates the use of gas. Next slide. Here's a snapshot of how Berkeley Heights generates greenhouse gases derived from our energy consumption. We produced almost 144 metric tons of CO2 in 2020, the largest contributor being vehicles on the road, followed by natural gas usage by residents. Next slide. The work plan that we would undertake over the next 5 years is aligned with the New Jersey Energy Master Plan, and would address some of these generators of greenhouse gases with an outcome that would hopefully reduce emissions and also improve the quality of life locally. Next slide. These next 3 slides cover the plan in brief with much more detail in the actual plan that we put together. Again, following the work plan template and with Sustainable Jersey's help. When you do get a chance, if you get a chance to look at the actual plan, you'll see that each of the initiatives has a lot of information on it, including the priority that we assigned to it, the departments involved, obstacles and barriers, and potential solutions. I didn't put that on these slides in the interest of time, so I'll just talk to these in brief. Our first strategy focuses on the transportation sector, which contributes to much of our global greenhouse gas emissions. The initiatives include the purchase of or promotion of electric vehicles, more efficient fleets, and last but not least, anti-idling policies and enforcement. Next slide. I'm on slide 9, just to be sure everybody's strategy 2.
There you go, strategy 2, right?
The second strategy focuses on renewable energy that doesn't emit greenhouse gases. Here, our initiatives focus on solar energy, whether supporting its adoption or looking into solar project opportunities in the township. Other low or no-cost initiatives include renewable energy aggregation and facilitating solar installation through our municipal code. Next slide, strategy 3. Finally, our last strategy is to maximize energy efficiency, and this is detailed a little more in the next slide. Moving on to slide 11. In this strategy, we would look hard at our municipal facilities for ways to improve their efficiency. Likewise, we would promote and encourage residents to improve their efficiency, promoting the use of incentive programs offered by New Jersey's electric and natural gas utilities to improve efficiency, and doing the same with commercial entities in town. Another focus area would be improving the efficiency of streetlights in the township by converting to LED as many of the streetlights as possible. Next slide. This is our last slide. This slide gets to our next steps, which includes, as I mentioned before, applying for grant funds to enable implementing these initiatives. Implementing as many as we can afford and tracking our progress through emission metrics. And again, we look forward to partnering with key members of the township, the Green Team, and of course, Sustainable Jersey as we move forward. And now I welcome any questions that you might have.
If anyone would like to come forward, please give your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes if you have any comments or questions on Alvaro's presentation.
Can I just ask a quick question? Are any of our streetlights LED now or no?
No.
No, and they're not solar either.
So, let me distinguish the streetlights. So there are streetlights that we pay JCP&L for electricity, and then streetlights that we own in the township. I believe there might be some that are LED. I think Liza was looking into that. Some of the ones that we own.
Mhm.
JCP&L owns the remainder of them, and they are not LED. There is a program that the governor has, actually Governor Murphy had proposed to promote the transition from gas, whatever the streetlights that we have are now, to LED. It's very expensive
Mhm.
to do that stuff.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Very well done.
Yeah, very well done.
You have to change the bulbs. to
Yeah, you have to
be
change
all
the
structure. Yeah.
It's a whole new fixture.
Mhm.
And you can see it from our bill list every month. It's a considerable cost.
It is.
Switch to LED, that alone would be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Hello, Nancy Amplezano, 215 Colony Drive, right? I did that right. I just want to
You were
say
hesitant about your address.
I just want to say thank you, Alvaro. You can tell how complete this is and how much work went into it.
I appreciate it.
Really great to see this on paper and see a plan and realistic and how we're going to try and get funding. And so thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Anybody else?
And again, please feel free to just email me with any other questions that you have. As I say, feedback is important to this process. And so if, before we adopt the resolution at our next meeting, any input that I can get, we can accommodate or at least address. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Well done, Alvaro. Appreciate your hard work on this. Okay, on to the proposed ordinance banning data centers. It's certainly a very topical issue right now, and Susan has taken the
There are handouts. If anyone didn't get one, I don't need one. Anybody
Again.
needs one?
without the screen, you have to get a hard copy.
Susan, I have extra.
Have extra? Okay.
Yeah, you can keep it.
999 more. The colorful one.
Oh, okay.
We'll put it up, right?
So, hi, thanks for being.
On the website, yes, Steve.
Putting on the website?
Oh, on Zoom? It's on this.
It's on Zoom. Okay, perfect. So we're going to talk about banning ordinances, and I wanted to talk about the roadmap to this point. So there were some rumblings in the interest of data center up at certain properties, large properties in our town. And we heard the word revenue, and you hear the word revenue, and you're like, ooh, let's look into that. So revenue could impact our town positively. So I started researching peer-reviewed articles about data centers and their impact on towns. And I created a report. I shared all my thoughts with the governing body. Each council member had an opportunity to read the research and add their own perspective and ideas. And here we are tonight to talk about an ordinance that will ban data centers from being built here in Berkeley Heights. So it's important that communities are educated about what they're facing and what the trade-off is if we let in, or any community lets in, a data center. So what are data centers? So data centers are the physical infrastructure underpinning data storage, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and other internet applications. I know they're part of all our lives. Data centers are energy intensive. And I have a few facts here. Roughly 1/2 or greater of the electric power demand of data centers stems directly from the operation of electronic IT equipment. Much of the rest is used for cooling. The core hardware components of a data center include computer services, which contains computer chips, for example, central processing units, CPU, and graphics processing units, GPU. Everyone loves those acronyms. Memory chips, data storage drives, and network routers and switches. Each piece of the electronic IT equipment generates heat as it operates. Data centers require cooling systems to help dissipate the heat and maintain optimal performance and overall system stability. The cooling systems could account for another 38 to 40% of electricity consumption in a data center. So we weighed the pros and the cons based on research. I'm going to start with the pros. Revenue and jobs. Host communities will reap the tax benefits, while costs, the intense water demand, the higher electricity bills, the air pollution from backup generators, will be dispersed more regionally, including in areas that won't see any new tax revenue. Jobs will be created mostly during the construction phase of the data center. Oh, you'd like to say next slide? I'm
No, I'm
sorry.
actually.
You're with me? Okay,
I'm with
thank you
I
so
can't
much.
See it, but yeah.
All right, thank you so much. So now we're gonna talk about the cons, and there's a few more slides on the pros. The benefit of revenue and jobs have to be weighed against long-term public costs, including investment in water systems, electrical substations, transmission lines, roads, and emergency services. Water and electric infrastructure often remains in place for about 30 years. If a data center downsizes or relocates before these costs are recovered, communities may be left paying for infrastructure sized for a facility that no longer exists. And so let's talk about the cons. On the next slide, I kind of have it organized into different cons. The first one we're going to talk about is the short-term job boom. While many communities see data centers as an economic boom due to tax revenue, the facilities themselves are not powerful long-term job engines. Most of the jobs created are rooted in construction, not the ongoing operation, and that therefore they're temporary. The infrastructure impact. The facilities have gotten massive. Each one of those buildings is using as much as a city's worth of power. So that power infrastructure is having a huge impact on communities. The local water impact. This might be what most people hear about, the water impact. What goes unacknowledged from a natural systems perspective is all water is local. AI queries from all over the world can come through a local data center. And a not so fun fact, an AI chat session of 20 or so queries uses up to 1 bottle of fresh water. Cooling water is not part of the water cycle. So those scientists in the room, you know, we have a finite amount of water on this planet and it just keeps cycling around. The water isn't just used for cooling in a data center and then discharged as treatable wastewater. Much of it evaporates in the process. And evaporative cooling leaves behind high concentrations of salts and other contaminants, which create water quality issues. And even small size centers are a burden. A small data center can place an immense concentrated burden on local infrastructure and natural resources. And I just want to say right now, no AI was used for the presentation. I don't use AI. And if anyone wants to talk about differently Google and AI, I can talk about that too another day. So here are some public health concerns. Data centers generate significant noise pollution, primarily from diesel generators and HVAC systems. There are noise levels reaching up to 96 A-weighted decibels, well above the 85 threshold considered harmful to hearing. This persistent noise adversely affects data center staff, nearby communities, and local wildlife. Number 2, air pollution is an acute concern. Fossil fuel power plants and diesel backup generators that power data centers emit hazardous pollutants such as nitrogen oxides and fine particulate matter, increasing rates of respiratory diseases, cardiovascular conditions, and elevating cancer risk in nearby communities. Today's expansion of data centers is unfolding at a much larger scale and faster pace than ever before. Data centers need a constant and reliable power supply. Many facilities rely on gas-fired generation for routine operations alongside diesel generators for emergency backup, and both come with climate and health risks. So here's the harsh reality. At a land policy and digitalization conference convened by the Lincoln Institute of Land Policy, they compare the extractive nature of data centers on resources to coal mines back in the years those were. And very often data centers are coming with non-disclosure agreements. The people in charge are hiding a lot of information about water usage, energy usage, air quality impacts, and emissions, and none of that information is disclosed. So communities don't really know what they're getting into. Municipalities are told that these data centers are inevitable, that they're the future, and opposing them is standing in the way of progress. So who really benefits from data centers? Big tech, surveillance industry, war industry, and fossil fuel industry. Our solution. Your Berkeley Heights Town Council has read the research, and we are acting in a proactive manner. We are creating an ordinance that will ban data centers in the Township of Berkeley Heights in order to preserve the health of residents and resources in our small community. But as communities consider the benefits and risks of data center development, consumers should consider their own role in the growth of data centers and whether our use of AI is worth the price of water, power, and the land it devours. According to the Lincoln Institute, there could be important uses for AI. It can be harnessed to solve complex problems, but there's also superfluous uses. For example, A YouTube channel with 35 million subscribers features AI-generated music videos of AI-generated songs. The MIT Technology Review said, unlike simple text queries, using AI to create video content is resource heavy, and a 5-second AI-generated video uses as much electricity as running a microwave nonstop for over an hour. And think about how much water is needed for cooling. So if the ordinance to ban data centers in our township passes, each of us can still consider how to use AI carefully, if at all. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
So does anyone from the council, I know we've been talking about this, but does anybody from the council have any questions or comments before we open it up to the residents?
The only question I have, and I queried this to Susan when she sent out the list of stuff, is currently, as we sit here and we talk about this, there are silent entities out there, the Board of Public Utilities, JCP&L, the water company. You don't hear anything from them on any of this at all, ever. Never read any article at all from any of them expressing any kind of disdain or let's go for it kind of gusto on this thing. So that in and of itself tells me that this is a problem. When you don't have the big public utilities that are going to sit there and they're going to, when you turn on that switch, they're the ones that you call up when the power goes out. They're not answering, they're not talking about it. That worries me to no end. And I queried that to Susan about that when we were discussing this. So to me, this is just a no-brainer. Let's just make our community safe. That's it. Bottom line. So thank you.
Are there other towns or cities, municipalities in New Jersey who have passed bans on data centers?
Past bans, absolutely. There's like a new one every couple days. Yeah, absolutely.
Neighboring towns too.
Neighboring towns, yeah.
Washington.
Warren did, yeah.
Just doing it right now.
Hanford, yeah. One went into Kenilworth, and the residents, I think they felt a little blindsided.
Yeah.
That's what I read. Yeah,
The old Merck property.
the old Merck property.
Merck property.
Mhm.
Because what happened was they built that also of their affordable housing plan. And then the data center was part of that and they just dropped it on them. And I don't think anybody knew it was coming because I know people who lived there.
And it's on the Union border, so
Yeah.
I think Union felt,
Yeah. Identified points.
it was, yeah.
I get it. Everybody wants to Google and AI, and we, obviously we live in a world of technology, we need data centers, but that's why I want people to carefully think how you're using AI. Is, if it's superfluous, maybe we stop and we say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Use it to solve the complex.
And if I can make another point, we all sat here for a presentation that was done just prior to that. I'm just gonna read off the top. Strategies to reduce greenhouse gas and emissions to promote sustainable energy in Berkeley. Coordinated. If that doesn't tell you right out of the gate that these data centers are just not gonna do any of that, okay, and cause any of this to not happen, well, that's all I have to say about it.
I have to say, I heard on the news today, McDonald's now is not going to have somebody asking you what your order is. It's going to be an AI. And that's what I'm talking about superfluous. Like, if you think about how much that's going to take in terms of energy and water to create this AI person.
About human jobs. Yeah.
Right, and human jobs, exactly. So I just think as residents and human beings of this planet, we should just carefully think how we're using it. Choose not to use it.
It's just that I thought this was a lot of great information presented very well. And to John's point about the public utilities, I have lost power 3 or 4 times this year. And I question the power company's ability to continue to, provide power uninterrupted to our residents while simultaneously providing massive amounts of power needed for a project like this. But I think utility companies have to get their house in order and can't think of doing things like this if they can't, supply reliable, resources to our residents now. And, to lose power 3 or 4 times in 6 months, it's a hardship for people, especially if they have life-sustaining equipment.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So, very good presentation.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
I just have a couple of things. Basically, I've been sitting on the fence on this for a while now because I still don't know what the tax benefits are. If we could crunch the numbers and figure out exactly how our town will benefit from this data center. And honestly, the other thing is the size of the data center. I mean, we're not looking at a massive, I mean, we don't have the land to build a massive data center, but I believe we might be able to build a smaller data center. And I would like to sort of at least look into that, investigate as to how much our town will reap the benefits. I mean, look, if anyone here knows, I mean, I am basically an environmentalist. I mean, and it's all about the environment, the ecosystems. For me, it's about the animals and all of that. But I still would like to see like some hard numbers and see whether or not perhaps maybe it's not just us, but maybe even get the community involved. And like Kenilworth, I know that Kenilworth was up in arms, but you know, that was sort of, they were kind of blindsided. But if we can at least put together some numbers and figure out exactly how we can maybe benefit from having a small data center, I mean, that would be amazing because, you know, obviously we all know that the wastewater treatment plant is bleeding us dry and our infrastructure is, at best, I mean, we're just sort of hanging in there. And then, of course, we have this Nokia property situation that, you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, we sort of at least look into what our town would benefit from. I mean, and honestly, right now it says our host communities will reap the tax benefits, but really how much? I know that we're losing maybe $3.2 million in revenue once Nokia is out. And where are we going to get that? I don't know.
Yeah, from the age restricted housing. It more than makes up for.
So, and that's the other thing. I mean, we took a look at, I mean, obviously there's some flexibility there. I mean, whether it's 500 units or.
Oh, we're still in
You know,
negotiation.
that's.
But Bill, I will tell you, the research says even a small data center can place an immense concentrated burden on local infrastructure and natural resources. And the research also shows that the math is very hard to figure out because there's so many variables
Yes,
that nobody knows about. So the math is hard to figure out.
right.
I'm not sure. Maybe AI could figure it out. I'm not. No, that was a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, no, I get that was a joke, but also the placement of it too. I mean, if we were looking at placing it somewhere in this town, I mean, obviously, if we were looking at a location, it would be much closer to Route 78, away from, you know, the ears of many people here in our community. But I don't know if there's some kind of muffling sound prevention system that they, I mean, because I don't know if it's truly that loud when we're dealing with major data centers. Yes, of course. I mean, I've seen it. I've watched the news. I've done my research, but I'm still sort of on the fence here. I mean, and that's a lot considering that I'm all about the environment.
I thought the wildlife comment would have really got you there.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, I just would like to see if maybe this might be something that might work out in the end for us, but.
I'm doubtful of that for two reasons. One, because the developers of Nokia have struggled with the sewer infrastructure that's clearly put them so far behind. So already they have one infrastructure problem. Secondly, Connell has really had to work very closely with JCP&L, and that has not been an easy partnership to cobble together, for a very simple way of saying it, enough electricity to do what they're doing at Connell. So I don't know how that would really play out in terms of the grid and being able to provide the amount of power that's going to be required for a data center. We're already struggling, and now they cobbled the power not just in Berkeley Heights, I won't say regionally, but from, neighboring areas. So I think just in the end, I'm not sure that it's even a feasible thing at Nokia, but I think what Susan is presenting is, let's get ahead of this and let's ban this now for not only the power, implications, but the noise and the environmental, that probably is still unknown, that it may be decades. And the other thing that's been pointed out to us is there's this great race to build these data centers. And inevitably, they say, hey, we're going to give Berkeley Heights $1 million. And by the time it's built out, by the time Nokia actually leaves in 2028, that data center is already built somewhere else because that land has to sit for 2 more years. And so now you lose out on the revenue. So, I mean, there's so much uncertainty around this right now. It's a bit akin to when, the marijuana legislation was coming out and a lot of towns didn't know what to expect and they banned them rather than, and for a 5-year ban, right? I mean, you can always go and reverse if for some reason miraculously this doesn't impact the environment the way we anticipate. I just think it's gonna be worse than what we see.
I think that's a great point. Technology changes so quickly.
Yeah.
By the time they plan it, build it, that how
6
will
months
that,
from now.
how long will that be significant?
It could be 6 months from now and we could have an incredible change in
Mhm.
how things are done or how data, or, they could be obsolete and something else comes along. It is a rapid race for these people that are investing in building them.
So one thing also, I can entitle to like the Industrial Revolution. Oh, I'm sorry, Margaret. Margaret, the floor is yours.
What I was gonna say is that we don't really have properties that isn't close to where people live.
Not yet, it's
The
residential.
sound is going to be a problem. And our resources such as water are gonna continue to be a problem. So we don't wanna add that much more water to either our stormwater or wastewater treatment process. And the grid is,
Taxed.
acknowledged to be unstable in our area. So Berkeley Heights, New Providence, Summit, we've had regular power outages. So if JCP&L can't figure out how to serve us consistently, how are they gonna take on that as well? So, I'm in support of the actions that Susan's talking about. If things change in 2 years, council can make a different choice.
Absolutely, you can always, change it or amend an ordinance if it makes sense.
That's interesting. The AI industry says AI will never be this poor, this weak or inefficient. It's always going to get better, but it's going to be more in demand, and the uncertainty is just, it's way beyond us.
Across the planet.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein said the death of society will come with technology. Just so you know. What was that?
Go figure.
Yeah.
MC squared.
You knew it. Yeah, you knew it. So.
He knew about that.
But Bill, I do appreciate your thoughts.
I do too.
Because when I first heard revenue, I was like, revenue, yes,
Yeah.
revenue, jobs. And that's why I delved into this. I know more about data centers than most people I know now. And it scares me a little bit. So I just think to protect our residents, it's the right thing. The community benefit is not worth, or the revenue benefit, I don't think is worth the health risk for our residents and our wildlife, Bill, wildlife.
If I could jump in,
Thank you.
so we prepared a draft ordinance for the council's consideration. And obviously it can change as the council sees fit. There are lots of ways to approach issues like this. We're trying to prohibit a type of use within township. You can either do it directly or obliquely. There are lots of different ways for something like this, where our understanding of data centers and how they're going to be used and how they're going to develop over time is going to change. It makes more sense from a legal perspective to, I'll say, cut it off at the source. And if this is what the council wants to do, and you just do it cleanly, you don't try to be cute or clever about it. And so the draft that we've prepared, there's a section of the code that just lists all the uses that are prohibited in all zones, regardless of where it is. Things like sex shops, for example. I just picked up. I'm just looking at a random one here.
Yeah.
I literally looked down as the first one. The word just popped off the page. So we added to the list there. And so the definition, there are lots of different definitions. The data centers, you want to encompass the whole use, but you also don't want to accidentally prohibit something that you don't mean to. So, for example, many office spaces will have essentially a computer room where they'll store their servers, and you don't want to accidentally prohibit something like that. And so, after looking at the definitions that a number of other municipalities are using, we came up with our own, which prohibits data centers. And I'm just going to read the definition here that we came up with. Data centers, which shall include any facility or portion thereof, primarily used for the housing, operating, and maintaining of computer servers and associated power, distribution, and cooling infrastructure for the purpose of storing, processing, or transmitting digital data for third parties. The term includes co-location, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence training or interference facilities. This prohibited use does not include server rooms or equipment spaces that are incidental and subordinate to a primary permitted use on the same lot. And that's why I went to law school to write something like that.
Money will spend.
A server, yes, it's not, it's for, if you just have a server room on your office property, it's not gonna be included like that. But if that's the main purpose of why you're using the space that it could be. Yeah.
Okay.
So if anyone has any questions about it, but
Can we also take out the sectionals are?
if you want to allow it, sure.
Still in there?
Yeah.
I think we'll leave it, that's fine. Anyone has any questions, name, address, and please keep it to 3 minutes or comments, please come forward. Yeah, Ellen, come on forward, come on down. Ellen's ahead of you, Tom, sorry. Okay. Poor Ellen.
Fourier.
Right.
Let's see. You said you used peer-reviewed sources. You didn't include any references.
Jen, I can send you my report with the references if you like,
Has the council seen the whole report?
They've
with
seen the report.
references? Okay.
and all the links to the references.
How much land does a data center need?
Not what?
How much land?
And it depends on your side of the data center.
Totally depends. Yeah, they can do from, relatively small to, I mean, I've seen ones that are like 40,000 acres.
40,000?
Yeah, there are some data centers in like Iowa that are unbelievably massive. Like the biggest buildings you've ever seen in your life, kind of big.
Do we have any open land with 40,000 acres here?
That
Tom,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just for Angela's purposes, your name and address, Tom.
Oh, Tom Fourier, usual.
Dorset Avenue?
You got it.
Okay, 15?
No, 14. 15 was my neighbor.
Credit for being close.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
A while.
Considering how many people you deal with, that's pretty amazing. Let's see. Oh, you're gonna send me the thing, so I'll know what journals you consulted. I checked, I'm sorry, I had to use AI. I don't happen to think there's anything wrong with AI. I think it's a marvelous invention. It's very useful. I don't have the aversion to AI that some of you have. It's
How do you use it?
very helpful. I don't think you can fight it. I think it's here. You can ban all the data centers that'll still.
Right, Tom?
What?
Belongs in Iowa where they have 40,000 acres where no one's
Yeah,
necessarily.
Wisconsin,
where they hate.
it's too, right next to the cows. I checked the internet. There are no data centers currently planned for Union County. None.
There's one in.
No, that.
There probably aren't any currently built,
Yeah,
but one is proposed on the old Merck property on the.
Okay.
Kenilworth,
All
on the
right.
border of Union and.
okay, we'll say one then. And you mentioned noise problems. I think you can deal with that. If it's really a noise problem, the 85 decibels, whatever.
96, goes up to
96, okay. So that certainly exceeds our noise ordinance, right? So right there, they can't do it. You don't even need this, right? If it's really going to exceed those limits, the noise ordinance is going to kill them right there, all right?
The problem though, I will tell you, Tom,
Yeah.
is sometimes the people who want to develop the data centers, they don't give you all the information. They
Yeah.
have a lot of information.
Well, that's
They come in and say, we're gonna build this building
Right,
where our noise is gonna go to 96 decibels.
right. So what you can do is you can take advantage of that. And you can impose all kinds of disclosure requirements and force it out in the open, all right?
You absolutely could.
They won't want to comply, they'll go elsewhere, all right? So the other thing is, do you have any documented health effects? You said there were health effects. What, do you have any documentation on this?
Yeah, so there's cardiovascular,
Yeah,
respiratory.
but documented, where's the
It's
document?
it's in my, I can send you my.
In the paper? Okay.
Absolutely.
I think your time's up. You can wrap it up.
I'm granting myself another minute, sorry.
1 minute, Tom.
What?
1 minute, one more minute.
I'm granting myself another minute, quiet. All right.
1 more minute.
Okay, that's all I have.
Minute, all right,
Less than a minute. Perfect.
thank you.
I yield back the balance of my time.
I'm gonna steal your minute there, Tom. This picture,
Yes.
how big is this site?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, if this is any indication how big.
No, it went, that's
Says-
bigger.
These are the
Yeah.
picture in your packet. These are
Yeah.
any indication how
Yeah.
big this is?
Yeah,
That won't be.
Oh, I know, and one
That's
other
only a
question.
small
There
portion.
are
One
small
other-
data
I'm
centers.
sorry, one other question.
No,
If
but
we have to do any comparison of electricity rates, I don't think you're gonna be seeing a lot of these in this area. The electricity rates here are higher. They're gonna go elsewhere, right?
I'm just trying to be proactive because
Yeah.
of they're coming in so fast and furious. We're trying to be proactive here in Berkeley Heights.
I see what you're trying to do.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom, for time.
Just name and address, please.
Yes.
Let me know.
Ellen Goretzky, 15 Cromwell Court. Hi, everybody. So I have a quick question, and that is, there's a lot of negativity about this throughout the state. Is there a coalition throughout the state that's banding together, or is there some way that we can get something through Union County to make sure that we're protected, or even our areas?
You mean the surrounding towns?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I know the New Jersey Conference of Mayors have been talking about this issue, and I think I'm going to refer to George. I think the state is talking about pulling some of the tax incentives for AI data centers.
And
The
that's
state is trying to decentify building them in New Jersey in certain places
Right.
at least.
But I just go back to my other point that I made earlier. The Board of Public Utilities is silent on all of this stuff. That should
Totally
tell
agree
you
with
right
you.
out of the
Yeah.
gate
Totally
that
agree.
there's something else going on. So you need everybody else. You need all the mayors, you need all the state.
State legislator, the governor.
But as of right now, we're probably better off just each individual town doing it ourselves until there is some kind of coalition that gets us all together.
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying for the broader picture,
Oh, yeah, no,
how do we begin to make this so that we cover ourselves? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank
Good
you.
point.
Amazing job.
Very good.
Thank you, Ellen.
Hello.
Hi, Dana Nigro, 425 Park Avenue. I want to thank you, Susan, for the excellent presentation and you for the excellent draft of a definition of a data center. I'm very much in support of this. And I have a lot of data on data centers, but I just want to address the value of income versus the health impacts on residents. I don't believe any amount of income from a data center could counter the impacts on residents throughout the town, but especially anywhere near the data center. In the Memphis area, where Colossus was built by XAI, within just a few months, residents were reporting that they had respiratory issues flare up, and university researchers found that nitrogen dioxide levels, which cause smog and results in asthma and other problems, have been substantially elevated just within a few months. As far as the sound issue, it's not just the 96 decibels that are going to, violate a noise ordinance. A lot of these data centers create a low frequency buzz, something known as infrasound, that can be felt even if it doesn't register on a standard decibel meter. So residents near these places have complained 24, this goes on 24/7. It's not just like, oh, it's running during business hours. They can't sleep. They get headaches, anxiety, nausea, vertigo. And the noise pollution has raised concerns over declining home values. If you want more data on this, the Environmental and Energy Study Institute has done a report on the sound issue because it is multiple frequency ranges, the loud and the low frequency.
And the vibrations is what's impacting the wildlife. Even if it's
Yes.
low, they feel those vibrations. It's impacting.
So just to elaborate on what Susan has already summed up very well with a little bit more detail, there's a lot of data out there if you want to find more about it. And for an example of water usage, this facility in Memphis used more than 11 million gallons in 1 month, which is as much as 150 homes use in a year. Jobs, at most, a few dozen people permanently, and that's for the biggest. Small ones, maybe a handful. Another issue, size. Everyone's thinking, oh, you need, 24 football fields. They can be built vertically. Doesn't mean they're using any less energy or less power. In fact, it's worse because they're stacking everything and it's even hotter, so they have to cool it more. So that is something else to keep in mind.
Great point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent report. My name's Mara Nigro, 277 Washington Street. I didn't come prepared with all kinds of research. I just formed an opinion listening to this presentation. New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the nation. A massive project like this that produces so much pollution and consumes so much water belongs in a very rural, large state where it will not be close to residential areas. There's all these people who live on Mountain Avenue right across the street who are going to be impacted by this. Plus all the animals who live in this town. I think if we're going to be seduced by the promise of a tax incentive, there are other uses this Nokia site would be used for that would also bring in tax revenue. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You guys related?
That's her mom.
I inferred that.
Name's Adam Horowitz, 79 Cromwell Court. I'd just like to commend Councilwoman Pogue for doing this research and the whole town council for considering this ordinance. I think it's really important that our township, and I mean the whole country, but I'm here in our town, thinks about making sure we are giving our town, making it better for the future generations and for our children. And I don't think a data center would improve this town. We've already heard about noise complaints and generally air pollution. But something that has been seen around these data centers is ground level ozone, causes asthma, cancer, major issues, especially for the most vulnerable in our community, the elderly, the children. We have issues also with, for example, the Colossus data center is especially egregious, but that's not just them, where even when they're hooked into the power grid, they're running natural gas turbines 24/7. Causing emissions, again, at the ground level. Sun's using diesel generators. We have plenty of power outages here. It means more generators are probably going to be needed for anything built in our town. We have data centers that are building these without permits, running them illegally, violating air pollution laws. Yes, maybe we would win a court if we had to fight them, but that's legal fees we'd have to spend fighting them. And meanwhile, these tech companies with billions and billions of dollars of money can continue to fight them, try to prevent injunctions, pollute our air, pollute our water until we hopefully eventually win. We're a small town. We don't have the resources to fight someone like Musk and XAI. So I think preventing them before they come in and destroy our town rather than fighting them after the fact is a wise decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Hi, my name is Danielle Bennett at 91 Bolton Boulevard. Thank you for this presentation. I'm very in support of this ordinance. I'm a software engineer, so I do use a lot of AI. Don't judge me. And I just, the rate that we've been encouraged to adopt this is really alarming. I have a 2-year-old son. I'm worried about the future in terms of what this is going to do to society as well as the environmental impact. So I definitely would like to prevent any data centers from coming to this area. I guess my question is, I'm not really familiar with the processes of how like local government work and things like that. If for some reason this ordinance didn't pass, would it come to a vote or something where residents would be able to weigh in on this and try to block this in any other way, or like we would have no power?
So what the plan is, I think we're all pretty much in alignment that we support this. We would introduce this probably at the next meeting. I think it's pretty simple. We'll be able to do that. And then the adoption would be the July meeting. There's something called a 20-day estoppel period where it can be challenged. But that the likelihood is, it's not being built. There's no investment in that. I can't imagine somebody's going to sue Berkeley Heights when they can go elsewhere. So I would say that that's likely, something that we would pass it, and it would be in effect early August.
Great. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking up.
I don't judge you now. I get it, it has uses.
I use AI, it's fine. Just not for videos.
Well, that's the point, it's the superfluous,
Yes.
you
A
know,
little help.
data heavy videos.
Yes.
Nancy Bolzano, 215 Killarney Drive. I did not do my homework like a lot of folks did. I think what you were asking was if it doesn't pass, what's the risk? And I think the risk is what we've seen is that people that own property have a lot of power. People that buy property and have money have a lot of power. And this is my concern, Bill, when you say, oh, let's find out, let's wait, let's see how much money. Transparency, people with money have a lot of money and they have a lot of power and they can come in, they can buy land. They have a lot of rights to develop the land whatever the way they want to. And if we don't have it in an ordinance, if we don't have it in writing and we don't are
If someone wanted to build it, it is more likely than not that it would end up in court and a judge would decide. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Chris Johnson, 6 Chestnut Hill Drive. Walking distance from Nokia, certainly within sound range, which great point about frequency. I was actually going to get into it because of the way different frequencies travel for sound and radio frequencies and everything else. If you remember our chicken discussion earlier, never forget it, right? The higher frequency noises travel shorter distances. The low frequency noises generated by things like the cooling systems and the actual data processing itself can go miles. And so it's a huge thing for sleep disruption, wildlife disruption, all bad stuff, right? So I commend you guys for looking into it ahead of time and trying to get ahead of it because I do agree with several people have said before, once they're in, I don't think we get them out. All right. You invite them in, it's over. It's game over. Cooked. Some people would be surprised that any politicians would turn down the opportunity for tax revenue. So I really do appreciate it that you guys are actually trying to see past dollar signs up front, understanding that, more money can be more helpful, but I think it's a net loss. I don't think we have the environment for it. I think the environmental impacts are too costly for really meager gains. I did use AI to see how much, and I can show you what it came up with afterwards, but it's, even if you developed all of Nokia, 150 acres that are 156, whatever's in our town, I think it would only end up being net like 1 or 2 million to the town after county and state taxes. So that's not worth me not being able to sleep, my kids not being able to sleep, us not seeing wildlife in the neighborhood anymore, and everything else. It's no good. And if you look at how quickly on the national level, a lot of people have pivoted from caring about the environment to pushing these data centers, you can see, like you're saying, look who's saying what and who's not saying anything at all. And it tells you quite a bit. So yeah, it says a lot. It says more than you need to know. But excuse me, sorry, been outside all day, throat's tore up. Commend you guys for looking into it. I do think that these have no place in our town. And so thank you for trying to get ahead of it.
Yes.
Hello, David Sankel, 75 Grandview Ave. I work for one of those big companies that is like super invested in AI, and I am really concerned about what AI is going to be doing to our society. Not everything which makes a lot of money is actually good for human beings. And I worry about creative people. I worry about the ethicality of where a lot of this AI is trained on, like without people's permission. Like there's so many concerns in here. So just on that perspective, I'd be really happy if we adopt this ordinance and we say like, look, we're going to have no part in this thing, right? And I can tell you that this isn't going to be the first kind of thing that you're going to have to deal with AI, because once the kids start doing it and they're not like learning as well, and I've looked at the studies, like people do not learn as well when they use AI. People end up getting very, very mediocre in terms of like their thinking levels. And these are like big, big concerns that I have with society. Additionally, I think that the technology is changing a lot. So there's going to be a big push towards local compute, which means that when you do inference, which is like when you actually run the AI, it'll run like on your cell phone. So it won't actually require a data center to run it. So if you have these big, data centers created, they might not need to be here a couple of years from now because the technology shifted and inference is happening on your phone or your computer. So now what, right? But that does mean that if we have a revenue problem, which I have comments prepared for later on, which I'll talk about then, we got to do the hard work of looking at where we're spending money, where we're getting our revenue, and make sure that we get to a point to where when we're talking about bringing additional revenue, it's something aligned with our community's interests and our ethical principles. And I think that we can.
We won't tell your boss either, you were here. Just kidding, just kidding.
Public meeting. Should have a revenue task force. You lower it down a little bit better.
Lower it down.
Lower it down.
Bend it, yeah. There you Is go. that right? Okay. Yep, you got it.
Hi, I haven't been to a meeting in a long time. I'm Betty Miles. I live on 30 Greenbrook Road, which is in Free Acres. This is great. Susan, you're in the classroom, you were prepared, and you're prepared here. So thank you for that. And I appreciate everybody saying what they did. I did do a little bit of research before I came tonight, and there were 5 things that I learned about this. Massive energy consumption, skyrocketing utility bills, strained water supplies, air and noise pollution, low economic return, and also health concerns. So I didn't really need to go too much beyond that. Also, the money that we would get, I know our infrastructure is, I've lived here almost 50 years, and our infrastructure is really, I can see that it's suffering. I live off of Emerson Lane, which is always full of potholes, and we'd love to have the thing repaved. I go to the meetings, our Free Acres meetings, but I would rather not have the potholes, or I'd rather have it not be repaved if it means doing something like this to get the $1 million to pay for it. So I'm really grateful that you guys have done this. I think it's something we really need to think about. There's so many things to think about with this, but once we say yes, it's hard to say no. All right, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Betty. When are we paving Emerson? This year. We're paving Emerson this year.
Are you really?
Yes.
I'll bring that to the Free Acres meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Betty.
On the DOT.
Yeah, the state, we need state approval still.
Glad you're here, Betty. Good to see you.
All right, thank you for your thoughtful comments. We do appreciate everyone's input on this, and it was a nice discussion with all of us as well. So let's move on to the regular agenda and the approval of the minutes, please.
I move that the following minutes as distributed be accepted and approved. Public meeting, May 19th, 2026.
Second it?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Zillis? Yes. Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to open the public hearing on the ordinances being considered final adoption.
Second it?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Zillis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue?
Yes.
Okay, comments on the ordinance, I think it's just one tonight, up for final adoption are welcome during the public hearing. There will be one public hearing for all the ordinances, but there's only one. Before making a comment, All speakers must identify their name and address for the record and are limited to 3 minutes. And with that, the hearing on the ordinance is now open. And that's related to the fire prevention fees.
Regarding Joe Danza, 923 Mountain Avenue. Regarding ordinance number 2026-11, there's a lot of verbiage, it's about 40 pages long, and it's all about fire department and costs. So my question to you is, what is the status of the possibility of the fire department becoming full-time?
That has nothing to do with this. This is the fire prevention fees. There's a little bit different.
Well, the way it's laid out is if they have to be there for, let's say, there's a situation and they have to be there for 2 or 3 hours, they gotta get paid. And then we have volunteer firemen. After a while, if you have a situation that, let's say, you're gonna be there for 4 or 5 hours, that's nice that they're volunteers, but there's the potential exists that we're gonna have to get a full-time fire department.
So some members of the fire department are also our fire inspectors and they get paid for that.
Right.
So they would, I think they would be doing the inspections for these, so they do get paid for that.
No, I understand. I know what you're saying.
But they're not being paid for being the firefighters per se. This is like different.
Not getting paid to be a firefighter.
Right, it's more like under the construction department and being the fire inspector, which is a little bit different. It is different than being a firefighter.
But if I read some of the verbiage, it's like if there's a situation, they gotta go down there with the fire engine and they gotta lay out the hoses and they gotta stay there.
That's like for when there's
In other words, there's a cost.
courses of certain alarms. I don't know specifically where you're referring to. Like you said, it's 40 pages, but off the top of.
That's what I mean. There's a lot there.
There's alarms that go,
Absolutely.
especially in commercial areas, and it tends to be egregious. So there should be compensation when they have to go out for that, because that is potentially, a residential fire happens and now they're at a commercial, and.
Right, well, a lot of it obviously has to do with the potential with the,
Yeah.
there's fire alarms and there's also fire situations in multi-story buildings, and that's what I'm concerned.
You're not talking about actual fires, like they're responding to a fire call. You're talking about like if they have to go for an alarm.
It's the alarm.
No, they have to actually go for a fire, and if they have to stay there. In other words,
Oh, for like.
you want to recoup
remediation
your
and stuff like
costs.
that.
Let's say something happens and there's a fire somewhere, and it's one of our commercial or residential that are high, buildings.
That's not what this is.
I think this is the section, I could be wrong, but I think this is what is driving your questions, is.
This fire.
That's what, yes, that's what I believe his.
The fire watch section is typically like, for example, you're having an event and the smoke detectors aren't working, so you have to have the fire department come to essentially watch, make sure there's no fire, or you're having a bonfire and you need the fire department to come and do it. Or
Like a fireworks display.
Exactly like that, something like that, where they're just there just to watch and observe, just in case something goes wrong. But these are typically defined events where in advance you're gonna need them, and you're essentially asking them to come in advance.
Paid by the people who are
Yes.
hosting the event.
Right.
Right, in other words, exactly. You have the more common fee, somebody shoots up a firework and they use drones now, I understand. But if it goes into, let's say, a field starts on fire, the fire department has to go there, has to put out the fire, and a lot of times they have to stay there to make sure the smoldering goes down.
Yep.
So what I'm saying to you is potentially, I don't know if there's been any talk about the potential of having a full-time fire department.
I think if I understand where you're coming from with that, I think, well, the fire department, I believe that they go out and they contact insurance companies for that issue. If there's a house fire or whatever, that they may need to get contact with them to say, hey, we're reimbursed for our equipment, our time, what have you. So I think they have that set up.
Okay.
They go out and do that.
So they would get compensated to a third party, not from the township.
Right.
Okay.
The whole ordinance is called fire prevention fees, not fire fee, it's fire prevention. We're trying to prevent fires.
I understand what.
To your point, Joe, we probably have to do some kind of a study as to see how much.
Yeah.
Time and effort, not time, their effort is always there, but their time and the man hours and stuff like that they would put out to see if that would equate to a full-time fire department.
Okay, I was just curious.
That's,
If it's leading up to it, that's all. Okay,
Let me just say that I think we've been very, very blessed to have an extraordinary department that's been able to meet all the calls that we get. And we've had a lot, if you notice on the agenda, you're here every council meeting. We normally have an addition almost every council meeting. So they're doing a really great job with recruitment. And they have a lot of mutual aid agreements with neighboring communities. So for right now, we're very blessed that we can do this on a volunteer basis.
We have to have them tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we always do.
okay, absolutely, okay.
Thanks.
It's Ted Kaczynski.
That
Remember Ted Kaczynski?
bomber, the bomb?
Right, read his manifesto.
Oh,
I'm gonna read that tonight.
Well, about technology.
About, yeah.
Like reading for you.
Bill Johnson.
I figured there was a connection there with AI.
Joe's gonna come to the next meeting with.
Like reading for you.
I'm gonna get on my Libby right now.
All right, you want to close it up?
Yeah, I just want to comment that John and I worked with Joe Popolo on raising the fees, because they hadn't been looked at in a really long time. So we worked very hard with Joe to get that done. I move to close the public hearing on the ordinances being considered for final adoption.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Illis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, if you would read ordinance 2026-11.
An ordinance amending the fire prevention fees.
I move to adopt the ordinance as read by the clerk.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Illis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue?
Yes.
I move to open the citizens hearing.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Illis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue?
Yes.
Okay, comments are welcome during the public comment period during this meeting on any matter over which the township has jurisdiction. To make your comment, the speaker must come forward to the microphone and state his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. The township attorney will keep time. Please promptly yield the floor when time is called and return to your seat. Your cooperation and adherence to these rules of order will ensure an orderly and respectful meeting. The hearing is now open.
Pete Peralta, 35 Sycamore Avenue. I'm going to ask a question on two of the DOT grants. My first comment, thank you for fixing Resolution 214 to make much more sense. Now, Resolution 2016-2017 are two different New Jersey DOT grants. They both apply to the same thing, funds for Sherman Avenue Revitalization Phase 3. And Phase 3, I was reminded, is anything further west of
Right.
where we are in Sherman Avenue right now. And it's not the first time that we've had two for the same project, multiple grants, because you get one, you might not get the other, and if you get both, you get more. So we've done that, and I understand
They're
that.
expensive.
Right. So the question is, not sure how well defined Phase 3 is. What is it, given the scope that these grants apply to? What will we be able to do if we got one or both of these grants regarding Phase 3?
It's similar, I'm going to defer to you, but it's similar to what we're doing on the east side, but it's on the train station. It would be sidewalks. I mean, I've said this a number of times, I think. The goal is once Berkeley Caters is developed and that county park is completed and the sidewalks on Springfield Avenue, we really were trying to create a loop that would start at Berkeley Caters and come around to the Sherman Avenue downtown area. So you could safely bike, walk, that kind of thing, and just, incrementally improving the downtown. But in terms of the sequencing, I'm going to defer to you.
Just that's always been Phase 3 was this train station park. I mean, this is like a hot mess over here, as you know, like there's cars coming in
Entrances, two
from
exits.
every which
Yeah.
way, and to really sort of streamline it and maybe also make it a place that we can more easily shut down for events like
Yeah, let's-
farmer's market or
gaming.
something like that. Right.
Right.
Right, so we don't need the design fully baked when we apply for these, and when we did Sherman Ave, that's all with grants, so we have 3 or 4 different grants paying for that. So we're trying to do the same thing with those same grants on this phase. So we need a concept, and what we can do is like, since we have phase 1 and phase 2, which is gonna be starting later this summer, as like a baseline, we can show them what we've been doing already, so that increases our chances of getting the funds to continue it. But you just need to show a concept. You don't need the specific details when you apply.
Okay, well, that's that, sure, but
You and I were the only ones in the room that participated in the
Outstanding.
recent meeting. So the transit hub planning team came and presented to the Complete and Green Streets Committee that included some conceptual ideas for what that Sherman Avenue West and the separation of the train station parking from the actual roadway could look like. So it isn't designed yet. The grants are to get us started, and, you know, through Liza, we've been successful stacking grants so that we can get the most that we can without it costing our taxpayers dollars.
By the way, the master plan includes that design, all the way down that street, so.
The conceptual design, but so what's it paying for? It's gonna pay for us to move forward.
so, well, that's the key thing. If you have a concept and that's good for them accepting, taking the next step, because it's, a lot of these things can be planning grants. And then other times they're implementation grants, and it's that kind of, that's why I said scope of the, but yeah, good, but the key thing I heard was if we know we have a concept, and if that's good for getting those grants,
Yeah.
then you could have a chance.
These particular grants, yes.
And I'll just piggyback, one quick thing is when you have like a multi-phase project that you're completed and you've spent the money, they look more favorably on that and tend to give you the money. When you do that, when you complete you have a phase 1 and then you come back to a phase 2 and you've done it in a timely fashion.
And it's even connected literally.
Oh, literally, they're gonna love this. I think it's gonna be well received.
It just
Yeah.
makes the whole thing
And it connects the
more
whole
workable.
downtown, yeah.
More people will use what we're doing now because they can deal with what's coming up.
I think it's gonna be well received, I do, yeah.
About the flow.
Yeah, flow is good.
The best part, there's no local match. That's the best part, right?
What was it?
Just to piggyback on this, we just got approved for more federal money if we need it for what we're building now, phase 1 and phase 2. So we're literally not having to spend any of our own money. Phase 1 and 2.
Yeah, good. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Any takers?
Here I am again. This is why I don't come to meetings loud. Nancy Bolzano, 215 Killarney Drive. I have a question for you guys. I know you're not gonna be able to answer tonight, and that's fine. But I think it's time to let us know, or what's the status of what is going on with Nokia. I'm hearing rumblings about crazy things happening with New Providence and what they've agreed to. I don't know the facts. And I would love, and I think would be great if you guys could give us a presentation, maybe in a month or 2 weeks or whatever it is, about what's going on, what's the status, even if the status is, we don't know, this is what they're working on. I think transparency of information is just really important.
So we are still in negotiations, but what we know is that it's going to be age restricted housing. It's not going to be as intense as the New Providence side. We did the best that we could on our side. We couldn't control the New Providence side because they were sued by the developer because of they didn't meet their affordable housing obligation. We are looking to do recreational types of uses. That's still part of the negotiations at this point. We would like to have another multi-purpose field that's up for negotiation. A great amount of it is going to remain wooded, like the area now where people like to walk, because it's not developable per DEP, so from developable land, which is good news. And then there's just one small parcel that is probably going to be more commercial because it can't be developed to residential standards. So we don't know what that's going to look like right now. So I'd say the main thrust is trying to come to an agreement on the density, the amount of housing, and we're not there yet.
Okay.
But we will, once we have an agreement, we'll do a presentation. It's just that we haven't agreed on the number of housing yet.
Can you?
We're waiting to, let me just add this, just so you know.
Okay.
We waited a significant amount of time for our financial planner to do, review the pro forma and really like look at the financials. And that took a little bit of time, more than we anticipated. And then as I mentioned earlier, they did have huge infrastructure problems with the sewer that I don't think they anticipated, making sure that they had the capacity or the force mains and what they needed, because it's not close to the plant. I think they have to feed to, the joint venture.
Trying to get them to send it to Summit and not to us.
Yeah, so the joint ventures in Summit, and that's just a feeder system to someplace else.
This is for sewage system?
Sewage, yeah, sorry. So that took time, and I don't think they anticipated it, which is kind of interesting, because you think you would have done your due diligence before signing the contract, but that's kind of where we are. But when we have an actual plan, we'll do a presentation.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great. And what is going on in New Providence? Because that's really Berkeley Heights. Let's be honest. Nobody knows that that's not Berkeley Heights, and it's.
I know, and it's
strange slice of
My yard's a little horrible with the back. It's great.
beautiful. The 158.
Stop in the backyard, please.
Behind it is gonna be beautiful, but yeah.
And no more
Out of our
solar
control.
panels.
Yeah, they're taking the solar panels with them. Some residential, multi-dwelling, kind of like apartment style. This is the last that we saw, and then mixed use, some commercial, which might help to support this recreational thing that we're doing too. So that might not be terrible, but it's gonna be a hotel, boutique hotel, I believe too. So it's gonna be it's gonna be intense in the front.
A little tight.
But
that's why we-
Museum also for Nokia.
Nancy, but that's why we've taken, like, we fulfilled our obligations, because otherwise you get sued from developers. And a lot of people think they can just stop it. You can't stop
I
it.
don't have any control.
And you want to have as much control as you can as a municipality.
Thank you.
David Sankel, for 75 Grandview Ave. I wanted to spend my time tonight talking about our library. And I want to preface this by stating that I deeply value the foundational purpose of public libraries. In a democracy, we require a population with open access to books to ensure that we have well-informed voters making decisions with good judgment. I worry that that's not enough, but we need that. And my family uses Berkeley Heights Library more than most. We have 10 children in our household, and the stack of books that we have checked out at any given moment is like 2 feet high.
Wait, you have 10 children in your household?
Yes, I have 10 kids.
Amazing. I'm not old enough for that. Amazing.
With all of that said, and as someone who is a genuine advocate for the library, I'm here to say that we are spending too much on it. We have a 1.73 million annual allocation going to the library. And when you have a budget that's large, it inevitably is going to lead to administrative bloat and mission creep. And as someone who manages budgets, I have to look at the sheer ratio of staff to active patrons during regular hours and question our operational efficiency. We appear to be funding a payroll model that far outpaces our actual community utilization. And this bloat extends beyond just staffing. So for example, I recently saw, like the mayor did, that you can check out a power washer and a carpet cleaner from the library. What does this have to do with the library's core educational mission? Furthermore, why are we using taxpayer-funded resources to compete with local tax-paying businesses right down the street, like Taylor Rental, which rents out these exact same items? From the outside looking in, it appears that we are simply trying to find creative ways to spend a massive budget. And I recognize that the 1.73 million appropriation is a strict state mandated minimum. However, we do have tools to fix this. State law allows municipalities to recapture unused library funds if the library's undesignated surplus exceeds 20% of its audited operating expenses. So before we accept the status quo on our tax burden, I respectfully ask, will the council commit to auditing the library's undesignated surplus and exercise our legal right to return any qualifying excess directly to taxpayers?
We've already made that request about 2 months ago. I would also encourage you.
After you came up and spoke about this during budget season.
I would encourage you to go to the library board as well.
Which is last night, so it's next month, second Monday of every month.
Second Monday of June, and also give your comments. July, sorry. Yeah, it's June already. I'm sorry, in July. That would be great. But we appreciate your vigilance.
Thank you.
No offense to you, Jared.
Excuse me?
No offense.
It was something you said.
Your calls, Joe, it's not an offense.
Well, good.
Go ahead in to 923 Mountain Avenue.
Where do you live? No, I'm kidding.
Anybody know the status of the Columbia Field? When are they gonna start working?
The project has to go out to bid still.
Okay, so it's a while. Since we didn't receive the $50,000 from the wonderful state of New Jersey for the World Cup, they gave it to mostly Democratic towns. Where's the money coming from and how will that affect any township programs or budgets?
We allocated a little bit of money in the township budget this year, but we've also raised quite a bit of money to pay for most of the expenses.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. You know, I like to look at the bills and I couldn't find the bills today on the website. That's 202619. So I'm not trying to be a wise guy, but should that be tabled for failure to abide by the 48-hour rule as per the Open Public Meetings Act? That you have to, allegedly, you're supposed to detail every item to be acted upon, including specific descriptions, vendor names, and appropriate dollar amounts for contracts. In other words.
What wasn't posted?
The bill list itself.
We're required to publish an agenda to the extent that it is known prior to the meeting, but that's not called a hard and fast because a lot of things are changed up to the minute of the meeting or even during the meeting.
Yeah, we've always put our bill lists on to be just above and beyond. It was not a requirement, so.
I don't think that Loretta Weinberger would agree to that. She was she was very instrumental in the Open Public Meetings Act. All I'm saying is I like to look at the money. I can't see the money. I don't think that's fair. I think that should be rectified. Next, 2026-191 and 2026-192. Connell has licenses for liquor, I would assume, but they're not active. And maybe they shouldn't give it as liquor license. License number 2001330090004 should not be approved if it's inactive. And if it is inactive, what is it going to be utilized for? It can be construed as giving them an unfair advantage over other political potential entities. On 2026-192, license number 2001-44003-010 should be denied because it could be setting a legal precedent. And I don't think that's a good thing to do. Because I was reading the law, it said that the legislator intended to address the scarcity of liquor license by requiring holders of inactive licenses to either activate their license or transfer them to entities that would put them to active use. The goal was not to eliminate these licenses. As such, today, the division must reinterpret the phrase actively used in the context of the recent legislative amendments. Basically, I know that they supposedly sent you a letter. What was the letter? What are they going to use the liquor license for? Are they blocking somebody else from using it?
No, can I just, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Can I just speak a little bit?
Go right ahead.
These are two different liquor licenses. The
Right.
33 is a consumption license, so it's like a restaurant, right? They own that license. They have owned that license,
Right.
right? It was being used. They are under construction. The 44 is a distribution.
Right.
Liquor store license. Again, they own that. The law is, they did change the law at the end of 24 to try to eliminate, like you said.
Right.
But these are not that situation and the way they did it. The 33s have a quartile basis, so there are 4 quartiles the state prioritized. So there are ones that have been inactive for 20 years. Someone's just holding on to it as more of an investment instead of allowing someone to use it, right?
Right.
That is not, that license, number 33, is in quartile 4. So they have additional time. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 2028. They have time. They are
anticipating to use it. This is not them storing a license, right? So the park is under construction. Number, the
Supposed to be
light,
completed by 2026.
what'd you say?
Isn't it supposed to be completed by 2026?
I'm telling you when they have to use it.
Okay,
right?
they have to use it by
I can
2026.
confirm the date, so I might be off it,
Part of-
like slightly off, but
Part of their commercial is going to be done this year, but I think
Right.
subsequent phases are like 27 and 28.
yeah, and I don't know exactly, but they have time for that. And the township does have the authority, according to that law, to allow them to continue, to give them this renewal. The
Can the
distribution.
public see that letter?
Sure.
Okay.
You want to see a copy? That letter is going to say the things that are basically here. It's under construction. They have every intention to utilize it. And so this is, the township has the authority, and in that situation, they fall right into the category that the state created this for. So
I know they have very powerful lawyers. They're very well versed. Okay, next one,
So you
2000.
gotta remember, I just want to point out, you gotta remember that we gave them an expanded license back in 2020 or 2021. So they have multiple restaurant concept, multiple
Right.
liquor concepts that they can expand that one license to. So as they're waiting to construct the first restaurant, which I think is the steakhouse, they'll probably use that for, and then it'll just keep going. So they may,
So they're
continue to-
gonna own the steakhouse, they'll own the liquor
they're
license?
gonna own everything.
Okay,
They do own the
they
liquor
own the
license.
liquor license.
They
It's
bought
not
that.
They're trying to get it. I don't.
Right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They bought that license from Berkeley Caterers, right? And then they pocketed it until they had this whole concept, because there was a lot of rezoning that we went through. If you remember, it was like all of 2020, it was painful. We finally got it done, I think, in 21. And then I think we expanded the license in 20 or 21 too. So they've been under construction. So that kind of explains why.
all right, thank you for clarifying. My next question is on 2026-193, 2026-215, the Oakway Bridge Repair Project. Does that bridge do anything for the residents of Berkeley Heights? Because the way I see it, the only person that it really serves is Connell. Is it,
we own it, and the county has put us on notice that we need to address it and repair it.
so one of the things we can do, we're gonna spend a lot of money to have design. Maybe we want to sell it to them, or maybe we want to demolish it so we don't have to repair it anymore.
Wait, sell the road to Connell? Is that what you're suggesting?
Why not? They're the only ones that are using it.
Actually, I go over to the L'Oreal store on that other side a lot. There's a lot of people that use that exit, and Oakway is sort of the street to the exit as like a cut through. I'm always surprised because I think people are coming to go to Lifetime Fitness, right? Not even L'Oreal. That doesn't even have that much traffic. But I'm always surprised that they come straight through to the light and they're making a left or a right. So
And they
it's
go all
gotten
along.
very busy over the last couple of years.
Because from my point of view, we have to maintain a piece of infrastructure that's
Yeah.
not giving us any revenue in this.
Technically, it's our road.
Well, Joe, to your point, it actually sort of is, because Connell's paying taxes to the town for the property that they're using.
Well,
So it's giving us revenue based on the fact that people are going there and spending their money at Lifetime or Fiserv or at Connell or, Embassy Suites, and if they happen to go in that way, just.
there's two other bridges and there's gonna be another road coming.
But if they do go that way,
Yeah.
it sort of is kind of.
I'm just trying to find ways of, cutting costs.
I understand.
Okay, my next question is, all new vehicles gonna be electric or fuel powered? I know we got a couple on this agenda tonight,
They're not electric.
they're not electric. Okay,
We couldn't afford to charge.
Yeah, afford to charge them, yeah.
well, that's the other thing,
Expensive.
you're gonna be involved with that, right? With the energy, so if we're gonna get the electric vehicles, we're gonna have to get electrical charges.
Wait, the infrastructure is there. We just couldn't afford the whole thing. It was too expensive. We tried to get a grant. They said no.
Thank you for your time.
Working on it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe. Anyone else? All right.
Close the six.
No, come on, Adam. Come on down.
I'll be quick. Adam Horowitz, 79 Cromwell Court. I was not planning to come up again, so nothing prepared. I just want to say,
previously you mentioned that the new Sherman Ave project could potentially be used to make a farmer's market down the road, which I think would be amazing. So I'm really glad to hear that. Also excited to see that the agenda has fireworks for the Mount Carmel Festival. I know the town and Facebook page will be ecstatic about that as well. I did have one question for Alvaro, which was obviously cars tonight are not electric, but I was curious which specific, if there were specific township vehicles that you had in mind on these sustainable energy plan that would be eventually converted to electric.
Oh, Margaret and I actually met with the police chief and the current police chief at the time, and then the Frank Maya, and sort of agreed that they would use it for a I guess they didn't specify actually what police vehicles, but we had in mind at the time, you can actually use in New York City actually has electric vehicle chase or cars that are able to pursue. And so
as Alvaro said, the police department is looking favorably at some electric vehicles. They're not comfortable yet with the performance of electric vehicles for their normal patrols and chase vehicles. But there's other vehicles that they use in public safety roles, such as when there's road construction and you need a police vehicle, wherever there's a police officer, there's a police vehicle. So those vehicles, basically they do their job, but they don't need to go really fast.
Well, I hope to see eventually EVs used for more than just that. I know they accelerate very fast, and since they're not driving hundreds of miles a day, it seems like it'd be a great use long term.
Additionally, when Alva wrote the energy plan, it says fleet vehicles. So there's other vehicles used by the township. Right now, we have a tendency to take the police vehicles that get retired and they're used in other roles in the township so that we don't have to buy, building a vehicle. But we will look over time to increase the electric vehicles or to actually start using electric vehicles for the township.
Awesome. And then just to put it on the record, because we weren't sure about it earlier and I only have 12 seconds left. We were talking about the tax benefits for AI data centers. I know our Assemblyman Andrew McCurdy is sponsoring a bill to withdraw those tax benefits. So just for reference. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? You, Tom? Okay, I move to close the citizens hearing.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Ellis? Yeah. Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pope?
Yes.
Okay, I move to adopt the consent agenda consisting of resolutions 2026-190 through 2026-219. These resolutions will be approved by one motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pope?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance 2026-12?
Ordinance appropriating $145,000,000
No.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry, for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Berkeley Heights in the County of Union, New Jersey.
I move that the ordinance as read by the clerk be offered on first reading and that June 30th, 2026 be set as the date for the public hearing and that the clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance according to law.
Second that.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mr. Maderos?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mrs. Pope?
Yes.
Okay, on to Township Council reports. Mr. Foster.
Okay. The Littell River Festival is gonna be October 17th, 12 to 4. Rain Day is October 18th, same time, 12 to 4. The Historic Preservation Committee meeting is gonna be on this Thursday, at 7:30, right here in this building. For The World Cup kickoff is gonna be on June 13th at the World Cup Village, AKA Memorial Field, AKA Santori Field.
Santori.
Yeah, there you go. I almost got that one wrong. 10 a.m. for the street renaming.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. at Sherman Avenue to Bessie Way, for the time being, and, oh, I got props. Okay, I saw, it says show props, I got props. So come out, you can get a bag with coupons, and you get a cup, a glass. Now, I can't guarantee what's gonna be this filled up with, but you can get a cup, it says Berkeley World Cup 2026 celebration. It's actually really cool, anyone wants to come and take a look at it, you can come and take a look at that. You also can get this nice nifty handy tote bag. Okay,
We have a purchase price yet?
I believe it's 15 for the bag and it's 10 for the glass.
And we're gonna be selling the t-shirts now too,
Oh.
all to benefit Latillo. Yes.
Awesome.
Because the t-shirts were in high demand at the.
Hold on, I got props. Hold on, I got props.
T-shirt.
I got props. Props, it's
Yes.
all about the props.
Very
Great,
nice.
we go.
All about the
AI may
props.
have created that logo.
You don't know, and I'm not even telling about that, but so I got
I
props.
choose my own way.
Hey, Fifi.
Okay, you can do it.
So,
And the
come on
pup
now.
parade, but the pup parade is 12:30. If your pup, you want to bring your pup up. It's a pup parade.
From what I understand,
For National Guard.
it's gonna be fantastic time over there, kickoff, Patriot apparently, they got food and all kinds of stuff going on, so it's gonna be really cool. I was at the block party, what a fantastic day for the block party, it was well attended, town tables were buzzing, had a lot of stuff going on between the Safe Streets and Historic Preservation and the Environmental Commission and the World Cup table, it was just fantastic. Prior to the block party, I was at the Sharing Network 5K run and walk over New Prague. If they had won, they had 10,000 people out there for that and or more. It was just a fantastic day. That brings me to my next point. The Global Day of Running, is an international observance celebrated every year on the first Wednesday in June, which was June 3rd. So this day commemorates the sport of running and encourages people to get up and go for a run. No matter the distance, it's inspired them to start leading a more active lifestyle. Everyone is invited to join in, and all you need is a pair of running shoes and some water. World Bicycle Day, also known as International Bicycle Day, it's a global celebration, and it was also on June 3rd. See where I'm going with this? Soccer and everything else. It's supported by the United Nations and aims to promote physical activity and use of bicycles for transportation. It encourages people to choose cycling, a greener option, and raises awareness about the importance of creating safer cycling infrastructures in cities. Now, once you get done with all that, okay, National Chocolate Ice Cream Day landed on June 7th. Okay, yeah, see where I went with that, huh? Okay, and this year it's different because just 6 weeks prior to June 7th, chocolate officially reclaimed the throne as America's #1 favorite ice cream flavor. If you didn't know that, it knocked vanilla right out of first place at the second. And this is according to the International Dairy Foods Association 2026 National Ice Cream Trend Survey. Now, that's all gonna be on the quiz later, so I want you to study for that. That June 7th wasn't just a fun food holiday, it was also a coronation for chocolate ice cream. This goes into my next point here. Back to wellness. Global Wellness Day is celebrated annually on the second Saturday of June, which is June 13th, and it promotes the physical, mental, and spiritual health. It was founded in 2004. And it's a nonprofit social project built around the slogan, "One day can change your whole life." The official theme for Global Wellness Day is #Joy Magenta, which focuses on joy as a daily practice to build resilience, compassion, and well-being rather than just a fleeting emotion. And if you've been, oh, I got more props, hang on, I got more props. It says show props. Okay, now, you can revitalize your mind and your body and your spirit and dive into an ancient practice of yoga, celebrated worldwide on June 21st. And in my hand, I'm holding the International Yoga Day flyer, which is going to be on June 21st, 9:15 to 10:15 a.m. at the Berkeley Swim Club, 200 Hamilton Avenue. Okay? Start your morning rejuvenating yoga session inspired by traditions. I'm gonna try to pronounce these. The yoga class.
Look at it
There's modification levels to make it perfect for beginners and seasoned yogas alike. Okay, this is also brought to you by the Mayor's Wellness Committee. If anybody wants it, there's a QR code that you can look on this. If not, reach out to me to sign up and you'll be good to go. Just gotta bring your own mat, your own water, and any yoga blocks and prompts.
It's also on Father's Day, so I expect you fathers all to join us.
Yeah. Fortunately, I will not be there. I'll be halfway from Laconia, New Hampshire, back home. I also want to congratulate the Governor Livingston girls softball team on making it to the sectionals and winning it. Because on June 13th, it's World Softball Day. Okay, and it's an honor of sport, for physical activity, sportsmanship, and gender equality. This date marks the historic 1991 announcement by the International Olympic Committee that women's fast pitch softball would be added to the Olympic Games. So congratulations to them. And now here's your PSA for the day. Okay, the summer solstice is going to occur on June 20th, 2026 at 10:42 p.m. So I want you all to get your sunscreen out because that marks the longest day of the year and it starts the summer season. So at 10:42, you all gotta be lathering up for the next day.
And then the days get shorter.
And that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Wearing sunscreen.
You gotta go there.
It's
Come on.
true, it's true. All right, very good, John. Margaret?
Okay, so a community reminder that the e-bike law in the state of New Jersey and Berkeley Heights is now in effect. People under the age of 15 years old should not be using e-bikes. The police department will begin their enforcement of these laws. We ask that all drivers watch out for bicyclists, regardless of what vehicle they're riding, and all parents and children riding bicycles need to remind their children to watch out for motorists and pedestrians. So we need to share the road in a safe and responsible manner. So the Complete and Green Streets Committee has been working with community policing, Sergeant Fagan, on some upcoming educational programs relating to e-bikes and other kinds of safety programs. So information will be coming out on that when we have it. Later this summer, also that e-bikes, later this summer, registration and licensing will be required. We don't have the details of that yet from the state of New Jersey. So that's not a Berkeley Heights thing, that's a state of New Jersey thing. So as soon as we get information, we'll put it out there with license assistance. I believe that there's a senior luncheon this Friday.
Yes, it's what?
On the 12th?
Yes.
Here at Town Hall. If you're interested in attending, the Recreation Department asks that you RSVP with them. So you can send a message or just swing by downstairs.
This is definitely this Friday.
And that's what I have. Oh, and the streetcar was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Awesome, very good.
Hey, Margaret, does that age restriction apply to scooters? Scooters? Does the age restriction apply to scooters or is it just e-bikes?
It's not the low speed two-wheel inline scooters.
Right. But there are high speed, am I right?
There
Or,
are higher speed, those are different because they go faster.
right, but so I'm not sure if that applies, that age restriction would apply to the high speed two-wheel scooter.
I think those are, the ones you're referring to are essentially motorcycles.
What was that?
It depends.
Yeah.
So there are like the Lime scooters, there's a few brands of those that actually go faster than the low speed. And I don't remember, Steve, do you remember where those fit into the regulations?
Is what the limited, what's defined in law is less speed electric scooter, and that's up to 19 miles an hour. So anything beyond that is not that vehicle you can use. But yeah, but the requirements have not changed with the new law.
All right.
On those electric scooters.
We are working with Sergeant Pagan on an information sheet
Right.
that will have easy to understand information about this. And
It's got that, what we just talked about, one of them was what we had at our booth.
And it's gonna be put on the website, it's gonna be berkeleyheights.gov/eride. It's not up yet, because I'm waiting for the police to give me the information, and I'm gonna go crazy if they do it this week, so maybe next week it'll be up. They tried to do it this week. So next, through Saturday.
All right, Bill, you're up.
Okay, well, look, I just want to say how grateful I am to live in a community that embraces one of the most fundamental principles upon which our nation was founded, and that's the freedom to express ourselves openly, honestly, and without fear of recrimination. It is a freedom that allows each of us to be who we are, to share our beliefs, and to live authentically. So that being said, today we proudly raise the pride flag in recognition of Pride Month. For many members of the LGBTQ community, that flag represents far more than colors on a banner. It symbolizes acceptance, dignity, equality, and a long journey toward being seen, heard, and respected. It serves as a reminder that every person deserves the opportunity to live their life with pride and without fear of discrimination. This past weekend, I also had the pleasure of attending our annual block party and street fair. It was wonderful to see so many neighbors and friends coming together, sharing conversations, laughter, and community spirit. One of the things I enjoyed the most was meeting new people, individuals and families who each bring their own unique stories, experiences, and perspectives to Berkeley Heights. That is what makes our town so special. We come from different backgrounds, we hold different beliefs, we have different interests, traditions, and life experiences. Yet despite those differences, we are connected by something greater, a shared commitment to community, kindness, and respect for one another. Our diversity is not something that divides us. It is something that strengthens us. It allows us to learn from one another, grow together, and build a more welcoming and compassionate community for everyone. Thank you to all who helped make Berkeley Heights such a wonderful place to call home. Together, we continue to prove that while we may be different in many ways, we are all connected as neighbors, friends, and members of one community. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for saying that, Bill.
Alvaro?
Thank you. On the Berkeley, the Board of Health met in person on May 20th. Bill joined me for that meeting. The health inspector's report included free food handler courses available starting this month to support FIFA activities. Restaurant inspections are complete, and only one establishment was in conditional status. And there are many applications from Connell for many of the locations. The EDC the Economic Development Committee met as a sub-team to discuss membership and participation in anticipation of a general meeting on June 19th. And I'm currently working on the NENJ UCF stewardship grant to fund taking 29 trees down that are in hazardous situations. Hopefully we'll get
Damaged by
that.
insects,
I'm sorry?
damaged by insects or storms.
End of life.
End of life.
They're damaged, they're in the wrong place. And so we're hoping to get $25,000 to take those down.
Excellent. Thank you, Alvaro. Andrew?
Thanks, Mayor. Just want to say I fully support the ordinance prohibiting the development of these data centers in our community. I believe as elected officials, our responsibility is to ensure the land use decisions align with the character, needs, and long-term interest of our residents. This ordinance helps preserve our community's quality of life, protects our infrastructure, and ensures that the future development is consistent with our master plan and our vision and the township's vision for our future. The action is not a statement against technology or innovation, rather it reflects a thoughtful planning decision of what types of development are appropriate for our town and where our limited land resources are best utilized. I appreciate the work of our fellow council members, Susan, Alvaro, in your presentations tonight. I'll be voting in favor of our ordinance. Finally, with Father's Day approaching, I'd like to wish all our fathers, grandfathers to be, and father figures in our community a happy Father's Day. Thank you.
Thank
And you'll be at yoga on the 21st, right? Susan, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. So yes, we raised the pride flag today and I'm proudly an ally for the pride, the LGBTQ community. I'm going to send my speech that I gave tonight to the TAP, so I will not be repeating it here tonight. Mahjong is so popular that even though I'm away this summer, I talked to Amy and we're going to do open table Mahjong, and there may be an instructor and there may not, but people could still come and play because they just want to keep the energy going. So that's really exciting for them. My biggest thing is like, did you learn how to read? Because that's the hardest thing you'll ever do. If you learn how to read, you can play Mahjong. So if you can learn, yeah, okay. So I also was today by executive order put on the library board. I did go to the meeting last night before I had the executive order, but I just want to say, I don't know if people know this. The Friends of the Library have these museum passes, and there's lots of museum passes there. I did one to the Montclair Art Museum, and you check them out for a period of time, and it's free to go to the museums. And they just added 2 more, including the Philadelphia Museum, which is a great one. It was told to me that Crafternoon is the most popular Monday activity at 3:30 for kids. And I don't know if you also know Canopy and Hoopla. If you don't have any streaming channels, like I don't have a lot of streaming channels, you can go to Canopy and Hoopla through our library and get movies. Libby for e-readers, and your Star Ledger if you want to do it through our library and learn a language with Mango Language. So the library has a lot of great tools, and a lot of that is supported by friends of the library. And I do hear what you're saying, so we're not going to ignore that. But the library does offer things besides the books to read to appeal to all our residents. I also attended the street fair. It was fantastic, great day. And that's all I have tonight.
All right, very good. Thank you, Susan.